Today, we're diving deep into something totally invisible yet wildly powerful. We are decoding the hidden architecture and honestly, the dark psychology behind the compliments we hear every single day. Because if you truly want to understand human behavior, you have to look closely at the words we use to validate each other.
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever gotten a compliment that just hit perfectly? Something so undeniably good, so ridiculously well-timed that you literally remembered it for years? It just stuck with you, right? That rush of validation is intoxicating. It's an immediate spark that lights up your brain and makes you feel truly seen.
Maybe someone looked you right in the eyes and dropped a line like, you're different from everyone else, or you're way smarter than most people I know, or even just a simple, I really feel like I can trust you. And man, for that brief, shining moment, you felt completely special. But here's where we have to pivot to a pretty uncomfortable truth. Because some of these beautiful, validating statements, they aren't designed to make you feel good at all. They're actually designed to manipulate you.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is they're designed to make you behave differently. When someone figures out exactly what you want to hear, a compliment completely transforms. It stops being a nice little remark and mutates into one of the most powerful psychological tools in their arsenal. They're using praise to quietly steer your decisions. And the wildest part? You probably won't even realize it's happening. So let's break down how this actually plays out in our normal day-to-day lives. Phase 1, everyday transactions.
Why are our brains so incredibly vulnerable to just a few nice words? Well, it's because we're social creatures. We have this deep, fundamental need to feel valuable, attractive, and smart. Picture this. You're at work and your manager walks by your desk and casually drops, you're one of the few people here who actually understands what they're doing. Sounds innocent, right? Super motivating even. But look closely at what just went down. They didn't just praise your work. They literally handed you a new identity. You are now the smart one. And human psychology is funny. Once we accept an identity, we desperately want to act consistent with it. So later, when they ask you to stay late, you say yes. Not because they forced you, but because saying no suddenly feels inconsistent with that shiny new identity they gave you. Now, what's really fascinating here is how this ties into reciprocity, which is easily one of the oldest psychological tricks in the book. A personal compliment basically acts like a tiny psychological deposit. Let's say someone you barely know says they really respect your confidence. You smile, you feel good, you naturally like them a bit more. But then 10 minutes later, they ask for a small favor. You probably don't consciously think you owe them, but that interaction, it's not neutral anymore. They made a deposit and now they're withdrawing a favor. This dynamic totally exposes why flattery lowers our defenses so well. Think about a salesperson. There's a huge difference between someone just pitching an expensive product and someone selling an identity. Instead of just saying, hey, this watch is really expensive and nice, they'll say something like, someone with your good taste would really appreciate this kind of quality. Do you see the trick? They aren't selling the item anymore. They're selling the identity of someone with good taste. If you reject the product now, it suddenly feels like you're rejecting that flattering version of yourself. It's incredibly sophisticated persuasion.
But as we escalate this explainer, we are definitely entering some darker territory. Phase 2. Weaponized praise. This is where compliments stop being friendly social lubricants and start being used to actively exploit your insecurities. Let's look at the classic "you're different" compliment. Someone says, other people are so fake, but you're the only one who actually understands me. At first, that sounds incredibly intimate. But what they're really doing is drawing a psychological line in the sand between you and everyone else. They're isolating you, building this exclusive little club of one, and once you value that VIP status, you become shockingly willing to tolerate bad behavior just to keep your spot as the only one. And then, of course, you've got the exact opposite approach, the insult cleverly disguised inside praise, the backhanded compliment. Imagine someone telling you, wow, you're surprisingly attractive in person. Wait, surprisingly? Compared to what? It hands you this tiny little crumb of approval while instantly injecting insecurity into your brain. And once you feel insecure, boom, you're trapped. Your brain starts overanalyzing their opinion, effectively making you chase their full approval. It is a brilliant, totally toxic trap. Sometimes, though, this kind of praise isn't even about manipulating your feelings, it's straight up information gathering. Say a friend normally never mentions your clothes, but out of nowhere they're obsessing over a new watch you're wearing, complimenting your expensive taste, and asking exactly where you got it. You really have to pay attention to that context. If someone is constantly praising your money, your connections, or your status, they are loudly broadcasting what they actually want from you, not what they genuinely like about you. All right, which brings us to the absolute climax of this analysis: intense psychological control. Phase 3, the ultimate psychological trap. Okay, let's dive into this, because when manipulation really escalates, praise actually becomes a weapon used to completely dismantle your sense of reality. We're talking about love bombing. You meet someone new, and within days, literally days, they're telling you, "I've never met anyone like you," or "You're exactly what I've been searching for," or just flat out, "You are perfect." And look, if you're emotionally invested, that feels incredible. But the glaring red flag here is that they don't actually know you yet. They are praising a projected version of you that they've only known for 72 hours. To spot the difference, you really have to look at the underlying patterns. Genuine affection inherently respects boundaries. It can handle hearing the word no. Manipulation, on the flip side, basically requires you to completely surrender your boundaries in exchange for that intense praise. If they're only sweet and validating when you're complying with exactly what they want, yeah, that early praise wasn't love. It was bait. This leads us right to the absolute pinnacle. The most dangerous compliment. The single most dangerous compliment you can ever receive has absolutely nothing to do with how you look, how smart you are, or how unique you are. It is so much more insidious. It's this: "I know you better than you know yourself." I mean, just pause and think about the sheer audacity and power of that statement. By saying this, a manipulator is literally positioning themselves as the ultimate authority over your own identity. They're basically claiming they hold the master map to your mind. And the second you accept that premise, the rapid fire control begins. They'll follow it up with things like, "Come on, you don't really want that." They actually start overwriting your own gut feelings with their interpretations. And then they hit you with, "You're just scared. Trust me, I know what's best for you." Under the guise of deeply, intimately understanding you, they are systematically replacing your reality and your judgment with their own. Psychological control rarely looks like a prison cell, you know? It usually sounds an awful lot like profound affection and understanding. Let's move to how this builds, and more importantly, how you protect yourself. Phase 4, the defense playbook. All right, everybody take a collective breath. We've definitely been exploring the dark side today, but the goal here is absolutely not to become super cynical and suspect every nice person you ever meet. You just need a logical framework. So here are 5 behavioral warning signs to watch for. 1. Does the compliment almost immediately come with a request? Watch that sequence. 2. Is it unusually specific, targeting exactly what you secretly want to believe about yourself? If so, they might be pressing your psychological buttons. 3. Is the praise being used to pressure or control your identity? 4. Do they suddenly punish you or pull away when you stop responding to their flattery? And 5, definitely the most crucial one, do their actions actually match their words? Because words are incredibly cheap, but consistent behavior is expensive. Ultimately, the true power of a compliment doesn't even come from the words being spoken. It comes from what's already inside of you. Your natural human desire to be loved, to be respected, and to be seen as unique. Manipulators don't magically create those desires. They just use their words as psychological keys to twist open doors that you left unguarded. So the very next time you receive one of those unusually powerful, perfectly timed compliments, don't just automatically reject it. Enjoy it for what it is. But protect yourself by asking this one simple, provocative question: why did they choose to tell me this right now? Recognizing which doors people are trying to open makes you incredibly hard to manipulate. Keep analyzing those everyday interactions, focused learners, and I will catch you in the next explainer.